want to say hello and welcome to everyone. This is our new feature within the Kingdom Centre. It is our Meet the Team interview series. In this series, we are going to be meeting the 1971 leadership team. And today we are going to be meeting Adam Bracey. My name is Dee Shepherd. I am your host. And Adam, welcome Adam to today. You are kicking it all off.
That's exciting. Yeah.
So no pressure at all.
None taken at all.
Well, let's just dive in. Who is Adam Bracey, essentially, and why was 1971 the place where you wanted to walk into, go into, invest in, and be a part of?
Perfect. All right. So as you stated, my name is Adam Bracey. I'm based out of Indianapolis, Indiana area. I have a wife and 4 children, ages 20, 18. I've been in the software industry for over 20 years now. That's my day job. The nice thing about that is it gives me the capability I work from home. I manage my own time. So I also run my own Amazon business on the side. So I have a successful, wholesaling and Amazon business. But what really got me into 1971, just some quick background, is that first I joined a group called PI, Passive Income Engines, I believe is what that stands for, by Travis Peters. This is around May of 2022, baked beans era, if you recall those days, Grinch bucks and baked beans and all kinds of fun things. In that same group, I saw a fellow named Jordan wearing strange hats, making some fairly bold comments in the Discord about what he was investing in, how much he was investing in them, kind of how he was thinking through those investments. So I reached out to Jordan directly just to kind of start that one-on-one conversation. That conversation back and forth continued for about a month and a half or so, where we're talking about different things like the Swap Next project and COTPS and Stable Fund, a lot of things that give people heart days thinking back on, because lost a lot of money and all those things. Also Novatech and Automated Capital and some other things like that. The unique thing about the conversations with Jordan was kind of the way he was thinking about these things was applying real world investment strategies in the whole DeFi space was unique. On top of that, because what I found out is he also ran Kingdom Real Estate Group, which their whole focus is in real estate investment. So the nice thing for me was just talking to somebody who had experience in the real world investing in real estate and other things like that, as well as the way he was thinking about these DeFi projects. And he was categorizing things like level 1 investments and level 2 investments and level 3 investments. So the most risky things being in level 3 and working their way up to the safer things in level 1. This is pre-1971 where he's telling me these types of things. And I'm like, that's just a different way of thinking about things. Because everybody at that point in time is about, this new project and shiny object, project B and another shiny project popping up. And you just throw money at the wall and hope and cross your fingers that something sticks and you make some money. So fast forward just a little bit of time, I think it's the end of July, Jordan reached out and said, hey, I'm starting this mastermind called 1971. Gave us the whole background of, what's the implications or what does 1971 mean? And to me, it's a no-brainer. I'm already having these one-on-one conversations with him. And if he's building a community or a group around those investment practices and applying it, to DeFi crypto space with the hopes of moving it into the real world. So that's how I got into 1971.
So it sounds as though it was something that was totally different to what you've ever seen or heard before.
Absolutely. To be fair, crypto and DeFi is something new, different than I've ever heard before. But to me, what was unique about the conversations I was having with Jordan is that he was thinking about them with a real world business strategy and putting them into these categories and thinking through risk tolerances and whatnot. So applying some real world investment techniques on top of this DeFi and crypto space.
Okay, so it sounds also as though this was like a new fusion of ideas, and it was bringing, like you keep saying, it was like bringing the real world, the DeFi space all together. And so this is definitely one of the USPs of 1971. That's how I'm hearing you explain it.
I would agree 100%. Yeah, definitely a unique thing about 1971 is we'd love to know about it, right? But we also want to figure out where does that fit within our strategy. We talked a lot about within the FME.
As you talked to me about, you've been invited in, Jordan said, come on board. You went, yeah, that's a piece of me. So, okay, what happens next? So the next conversation is about the leadership team. How did that develop?
Great question. So 1971 group, it's interesting that there's a lot of people yearning for this ability to link real world investment strategies into this crypto space, in this DeFi space. So the community grew very quickly. Now I think it was probably a matter of a week or two before Jordan reached out. And just to rewind just a bit, when I joined 1971, saw him posting a lot in the Pi group, and I respected his critical thinking, seeing that he was already part of 1971. I was like, okay, that's a win. That's a good thing. So seeing the people that Jordan was inviting first into 1971, seeing them join and gaining value out of it was like, that's what made it a no-brainer for me to join. But regarding the leadership team, like I was saying, it was growing so quickly that I think, not to put myself in Jordan's shoes, but him herding all those cats, right, of all the people and the projects and keeping up with the community. So he reached out to Carl and myself and to Kent to say, hey, I'm starting this leadership team, I think we were already kind of engaged as I don't want to say thought leader, but we were thinking about these projects and already kind of in some of the things that Jordan has already mentioned to us within the community, having these conversations and kind of trying to guide them down the right path, to which I think Jordan kind of, latched onto that and said, okay, these guys right here, I think can help me out with this. And that's.
So you already knew each other then. What sort of role is it that you've taken in the leadership team then at 1971?
Yep, great question. With my technology background, big thing I brought at that point in time, I feel like, was just the management of the whole Discord space. We had a lot of users. We had to figure out how to set up users and groups and roles to figure out, okay, we're going to categorize people into these groups based on their capital available to invest, because the way we tell somebody to invest this much money is very different than somebody to invest this much money. So with that, we were able to categorize people and communicate to them differently, as well as set up support ticketing and whatnot. So my technical background kind of brought that component to it. But the key thing that the way we split things up, Kent and myself took the investment side of 1971. So one of the key things we wanted to make sure we were capable of doing as a leadership team was to be able to communicate not with just words, but by our actions. So with the money that was coming into 1971 with the membership fees, we wanted to utilize that to invest into various different projects, the same ones that we're communicating to the team, but also applying our investment strategies on top of it. So a percentage goes here and a percentage goes there and profits come out, and then we reinvest type of thing. So rather than, like I was saying earlier, just throwing money at different projects, what sticks to the wall and hope for the best, we were trying to apply our strategies to that money and show the members within 1971 how that could be done. So that was my role, and Kent's role is to manage those funds.
And I've just got to think, it sounds as though what happens in that space is that you keep on saying about this, throwing money at the wall and seeing if it sticks. It sounds as though that's a culture, and it's just one YouTuber after another that's saying, so are they just trying to make money out of people?
I can't speak for them, but I'm sure there's plenty of money to be made for sure in their shoes.
Is 1971 different then? Why is it different from all these other people?
So from a referral standpoint, we're not really pitching projects that we don't believe in, right? So a lot of the YouTubers are going to be pitching things that, number one, they know they can make them money, right? So there's a good referral scheme under the covers that incentivizes them to want to push that pretty hard on their members or whatever they call it. 1971 is not like that at all. So we're not going to ever push a project that we don't believe in 100%. If there's a referral program behind it, sure, we would take advantage of it. But if there's not a referral project or a referral program, that's not a problem for us at all either. So I would say that certainly makes us different.
And I think from what you're saying, what is also making you stand out from the rest is it sounds as though you are cultivating community at 1971.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to it in a moment when we talk about the FME experience, but part of community to me is it starts off with the back and forth communication we've had within, our Kingdom network or within our Discord channel early on, just making connections with people in that way. The natural evolution of that is, the face-to-face conversation that we got to with our FME one.
So when we talk about FME one, talk to me about that. What does FME stand for?
Fake money experience. Back to the origins of the name 1971, where gold was no longer the standard of the US dollar. Money is basically fake today. It's just a piece of paper. Helping people understand, first of all, money's fake, not real. It's only as real as the value we attribute to it. So that's kind of where the name fake money experience came from.
What was the expectation then of the event Fake Money Experience?
Oh, sure. Expectation from the leadership team's perspective was just to further cultivate that community that we're building within 1971. Just knowing that in life and in business, it's all about the relationships we make. Just from my previous experience at other events I've gone to, I do business with people that I met 10 years ago. If I'd never met them face to face, probably wouldn't even have that connection today. So that's like the big thing from the leadership's perspective, is just getting those relationships intact. And I think also the message is received differently when you're in person versus behind a screen. So I know that was one of the key components too, is just making sure that the message that we had to share within FME1 was something that was really taken part to and executed upon.
I wouldn't imagine that a message would be something that would touch any heartstrings at that type of event. So, but it sounds as though that happened there. So talk to me about that. Explain that to me.
It's a good statement, because I would agree that in the DeFi crypto world, you're not really receiving messages that that's going to make a difference in my life. I'm going to be a better person because of investing in baked beans. I agree. The cool thing about FME1 was the messages were not directly linked towards a project. The messages were more general, being, okay, we all need to be taking a step back and we need to think about what we are spending our time on or investing our money in is all tied to a bigger purpose, right? So thinking about it as more of a business. So we need to define what is our goal? 15 years, I need X amount of dollars to send my kids to college or retire or whatever that goal is. And then walking backwards from that goal. Okay, how am I going to get there? Let's define a strategy. So each one of the speakers in FME1 really kind of talked about a different aspect of your life. How are you spending your time, whether it's personal or a day job or whatever it may be. Others were talking about, God. How does God fit into our business, our daily lives, and how he could help us along this journey as well. So they really wove a message that really can impact your life, not just a new project to invest into that's going to last 6 months, maybe less. It was about how I can be investing in my time and my effort and building a strategy around that to invest into those projects.
So it sounds as though there was a lot of seeds there that were sown then. Definitely the promise of 1971 has got some longevity about it.
I would agree. Absolutely. Cool thing about the FME experience on the very last day, the very last thing that was done is basically going around the room and asking each person, what are your key takeaways? What outcomes are you hoping to achieve from this event alone? So that way, you say it out loud, you write it down on paper, much more intentional about actually executing upon those things you learned upon when you speak them out. So what I believe was a very key takeaway was just that whole experience where you're telling everybody in the room, okay, I learned this, I need to do that, and here's how I'm going to get there. Really put some rubber to the road, so to speak, where you can actually make that progress.
And were those conversations and statements that they made on the last day, were they similar to the expectations you think that they arrived with?
Oh, I would say probably not. No, I think, putting myself in the shoes of somebody, not knowing who the speakers were, and I would say even myself as a part of the leadership team, I didn't even have full understanding of the messages that would be delivered by some of these people joining us, because, we don't control what they say. We have the general framework. So, from my perspective, it exceeded my expectations. So I can only imagine as a member coming in hoping to learn maybe more about new projects or a new investment opportunity, learning about a better way to structure my investments long term and structuring my life, structuring this business of crypto and DeFi certainly would have exceeded my expectations.
It definitely sounds like a journey where we are starting with, everybody's journey starts with one foot and at a totally different place. So what was the range and the diversity of everybody's entry level that was coming into that event?
Oh, that's a great question. So we had doctors and lawyers. I know we had at least one doctor. I know at least one lawyer. The guys with making a few dollars, right? We've got people running their own businesses, entrepreneurs running multiple businesses, entrepreneurs running single online businesses. We had an 18-year-old, maybe a couple of more teenager, young 20s, had some professional investors, investor guidance, just thinking out loud of other people I can just think of or remember. It was quite diverse, right? So the broad range of individuals were all there.
How were they able to communicate? Were you all on a high pedestal and you're like, we're the LT, see you later, book an appointment? Were they able to talk to you?
Oh, absolutely. We talked with everybody. I think the common thread we all share is, in this space, we've all lost a little bit of money. So there's camaraderie that's built just from being together in this journey, whether there's pains in the battle or, looking at the longer term vision, where are we all trying to get to, and let's all get there together. I'd say absolutely it's more of it was a joint experience for sure.
So there was that opportunity definitely then for communication and community to continue to grow between the 1971 side and also all of the members.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did that look like then?
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity just to have those conversations. I would say one of the key opportunities that we had to have those conversations was on the night before the event, which is our VIP event is what we called it. The nice thing about that is it gave us that opportunity to sit together, have a dinner together, meet with the speakers. It was a smaller group of people, but you can have those one-on-one conversations more like you would expect from like a smaller mastermind to understand, okay, here's what I'm doing, and here's how it's working out for me, and here's what I'm doing, here's what's not working out for me. Can you help me out? So it was a good opportunity for both us as a leadership team, as well as the members, as well as the speakers, to all kind of come together and have those conversations. And then that night was also, I believe, the night where Jordan kind of shared with us, that perspective of where we need to be in 15, 20 years, whatever our goal is. It doesn't take a whole lot to get there. We're all trying to jump into these 3% per day or, even 1% per day type of projects, which carry some risk with them. In order to get to some place in 20 years, it really only takes very small percentage, a fraction of a percentage per day to get there. So why are we all introducing ourselves to so much risk just to get to the place? That kind of his teeing up that conversation in that VIP event was what really kind of drove a lot of conversations around the leadership team and the members and speakers to kind of have some of those conversations about, where have we gone, where are we coming to or going to, to help each other get there together.
Yeah, and that we don't have to rush.
We do not have to rush. Yeah.
So consistency is actually our friend.
Right.
So who was there then? Who were the speakers that were there, and what's happened since you all met up at that event?
Yeah, so we had James Pelton, kind of a familiar face in the DeFi space, an individual named Justin, or Pocket Aces, which is also kind of a familiar face in the DeFi space. So we really had a great range of speakers, people in projects, people that have been part of projects, as well as people leading communities that are trying to figure out how to invest into these types of projects. As far as what's happened since then, FME, I feel like, was such a great success. You got these speakers that are familiar faces, both on the investment side, community side, as well as on the project side. Them now requesting not only are they going to be part of FME2, but they're also partnering with 1971. So, filling a gap that's kind of missing in the space, where there's actual human, point-to-point connectivity community with these live events. And you've got these individuals who have their own communities that are lacking in that aspect, and they've partnered with 1971 for the second event, so they can also, take part and bring their communities to this next event.
I think because we've had that period of time where everyone's been online, where we've had COVID as the pandemic, like everyone's forgotten that communication in person and how important, how it is to be in that space and to be in that environment, because surely that's where ideas culminate, that's where relationships begin to grow, that's where futures and visions all happen in that space.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, 100% for sure.
So it sounds exciting. So there's another event coming already.
Yes, I alluded to FME2. I believe it's end of October. October 27th, 28th, and 29th is our second event. And as I stated, we have James Pelton partnering with us, Justin partnering with us for Pocket Aces, Lucas also partnering with us. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. Yeah, we have their communities joining our community with new speakers. So I think it's going to be really amazing.
It sounds as though what it is that you're doing is groundbreaking. And it must be, because all of these, these high ticket people that are out there in this main space that have already doing their, and to be honest, let's stand back and go, I don't really need 1971. I'm doing all right anyway. But for the fact that even after one event, they're like, we want to partner with you. True testament to what it is that the leadership team, Jordan, is trying to cultivate and grow. And it sounds as though they've really bought into the whole vision and the whole idea.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So when is it going to be? Let me know when the next one is. What are the dates again?
Just right before Halloween, the weekend of, I think, the 27th, 28th, and 29th of October. Same place as the last event, beautiful Canton, Ohio, on Freedom Avenue, the Kingdom Center is what we call it. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
I would love to keep on chatting, but our time has come to an end, Adam. All right. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you so much, Dee.